Hey everybody, I'm Shanae Yarvi, Platinum Plus Premier with Perfectly Posh. This is my husband, Ammon. I have been doing Posh for almost 9 years. It's a long time. And sometimes I feel like people have some hesitation as far as like joining a company like the company that I'm in. But Ammon has seen my journey since the very beginning when I knew absolutely nothing. And so I wanted to ask him some questions and just I want to get your take. What did you think when I first started direct sales?
I think I promoted it. I was for it all along. Given the scenario at the time, we had young kids, and I don't know. I guess my biggest thing was less about what it could even become or what it might become or what it would be, more about an opportunity to do something outside of the daily stay-at-home mom life.
It was kind of a rough time, I feel like. Like we had two little kids back to back, and then one that's a couple years older, and so it was kind of hard. I was kind of having a hard time.
Yeah. I don't know. So that was a big part of it for me. Is just like I felt like it could be an opportunity to do.
For your wife not to be as crazy.
Well, just get some diversity and
get out
life.
there.
Yeah. Connect with some people. Do something different. I don't know. That's in my mind.
Yeah, and that is actually true. And I tell people this when they're thinking about joining. I use what you said to me when you were like, "What do you have to lose?" Like the worst thing that could happen is you end up with like, more than you pay for in products, and you meet people.
You get some extra lotion, whatever, right? Like it just wasn't enough of a financial undertaking. If even at the time, I didn't feel like we were super financially sound or anything. But
not at that time. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So, what has surprised you while watching me grow my business?
I think based on that first answer that, I don't feel like I had a ton of expectations as to what it could be. So I think it's all been surprising. First of all, that it's been 9 years now and you're still doing it. That's surprising to me. But also what it's become. I don't know that I expected that at all. Some of the things we've been able to do together, like you by yourself, as a family, and a lot of those were based on the experience or based on joining and doing this.
I feel like I had a lot of really specific ideas of what it could be, but I didn't really think that was attainable maybe, or that I don't know. It has surprised me as well.
Yeah, I don't feel like either one of us had much knowledge in the area of anything. So it was all...
No, I totally agree. So what would you say to someone who's afraid to start a direct sales business because of the stigmas?
Yeah, that is a tough one. And I think that kind of is an ongoing thing, the stigma of what it is. I don't know. I think that you just almost have to try to see, you know what I mean? And I think that approaching the way you've approached it, I feel like you do a really good job at approaching that sales world as, I don't know, a way to improve that image a lot, because I don't think you do. I don't know how else to describe that.
But I think part of the stigma comes from, like, anyone can start a direct sales company, which is amazing, but then also when you don't know what to do or how to do it, sometimes those spammy, I don't know, tactics take place and it feels really disingenuous. But I also feel like some of that is just people learning how to do it. It's hard.
It is hard. And so I don't know. I feel like give it a try and realize that was a terrible answer, I feel like, but I feel like you give it a try and realize that people are still people. Don't approach people like they're objects to make a couple bucks off of, because that's what's given it the stigma in the first place.
How has my business helped our family?
Well, outside, I think there are multiple parts to this. First of all, I think the easy answer is like financially, it's helped us a lot. And also I feel like during times when I was transitioning between things and and I was in the process of not making much or making zero money or even losing money, that those were times where it worked out that you were making not only enough money for us to live, but money for us to do extra things. And then we've been able to just, like I said, do a ton of stuff. So financially, huge. And I think that's the clear, easy answer that everybody wants, is like money, money, money. But I think it's been a huge thing outside of money too. Experience, people you've met, opportunities you've had, growth as a person because of things you've had to learn and try and overcome. I mean,
I do feel like that is huge. Like how much I have changed and how much I've learned.
Yeah, agreed. And I think
crazy.
That's the hard thing about this, right? Like people look at something like this and business in general or whatever you're doing, and you just look at dollar signs. But the fact of the matter is there's a ton of other little off-branch things that are happening all the time that have so much benefit.
And the people. We've had a lot of
good
times with Poshy people.
Tons of good times. And I think that goes back to the original question when you were like, what did you think? And my first thought was less about dollar signs, more about like, even if you got out and you had a party once a month, or like it would give you an opportunity to, do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like those have been good.
And we've been lots of places together because of Posh. Yeah. And it has been really cool. It's been like a really amazing journey. In your opinion, what has been the hardest part of having a business like mine? Like because you're in it, but like, what do you think the hardest thing is about having a business like mine?
It's difficult to, like any business, I think you to stay motivated and keep going when things are hard. They don't always go your way. A lot of times they don't go your way. I
feel like that is
probably
the hardest.
More often than not, they don't go your way. So to stay motivated, and to keep, just keep grinding through. I don't know what, that grit. Keep the grit.
Yeah. I'm like, I have 2 life skills, grit and baking cookies.
Yeah. And they're both good.
They're both good. So what would you say to a spouse who is hesitant to want their significant other to start a business like mine?
Part of my thought, and this goes back again to that same very first crossroads that we had, is like, what do you really have to lose? And that's just my total, my own opinion, but the financial entry is so low on a grand scale of trying to do something to add a little extra income into your life. And again, like the potential benefits outside of money are so huge in connecting to people, opportunity, even just if you use it as like that connection, or call it a hobby, whatever you want, to add a little bit of, newness and diversity to your life. I don't know there's not a lot to lose in my opinion.
Yeah.
The risks are low.
I think there's a lot of fear of like, what will people think?
Sure.
But I also feel like if you're living in the entrepreneur world, we've had a lot of people think a lot of things about.
We kind of live in like that world of potential fear.
That's true. Maybe that helped a little bit. So you kind of touched on this when you answered that, just because we have owned a lot of different businesses, and this is something we were talking about the other day. So for those of you who don't know, Ammon owns 180 Light. He's an inventor and does Kickstarters, and we've done a lot of things, but we've owned a lot of different businesses. And so what do you think about the opportunity as a startup to do direct sales versus starting something from scratch like you have done? And we've done it a few times with different businesses.
Yeah.
But as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to use one example. I'll try to make this not too long of an answer. But the very first business we did was we had a porta potty business. So.
Pretty crappy.
So in a business like that, it's a service-based industry. But there also was a large amount of capital that was needed to get the materials and the things.
Trucks and potties.
Exactly. So we basically needed to take out about a $40,000 loan right off the bat. So immediately within the first day of starting, essentially, we had $40,000 of debt. And that's not a crazy amount of debt to start a
Not
business.
to start a business.
Yeah. So I think the process of starting a business can be not only really, really expensive, but it can be really, really long and time consuming before you make a penny. So I think the financial part of entry into a direct sales type business is so low and minimum, and you can start making money almost immediately. So I think comparatively and to what I'm doing now, it wasn't as big of an upfront cost like the $40,000, but the time frame, it took me, the first product took 2 years of reiterations, development before I was able to put it out there and then hope that it made money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because there was no guarantee after 2 years. And so again, like the risk is just so minimal comparatively to so many businesses.
Yeah. And what you could build in that amount 2 years with direct sales. Yeah. I mean,
it's potentially better. I mean, way better and easier.
When talking about what we do, because we're both entrepreneurs, and someone reacts negatively to, when I say what I do, how do you react to that?
Okay. I feel like I want to explain and try to help them understand why it is beneficial. And because I feel like a lot of times people react or respond negatively when they don't understand something fully. And I feel like that is a classic example of this type of industry, is that it's misunderstood. All these things we've talked about, opportunities that are there, things, money that is potentially open to you to be made, how easy it is to get in, opportunities as far as connecting with people, doing things. That would probably be my
just to help them.
Yes, just clarify a misunderstanding. That's what I feel like most of it is.
Actually, more than people reacting negatively, they kind of are like, "Oh my gosh, your business is so cool," and like, "Oh, that's kind of like a fun little hobby you have." Like, I feel like that is more generally the way that people react.
Almost to like legitimize one but not the other. But that is far, far, far from the truth, because the truth of the matter is, like we've talked about a little bit earlier, there has been years of time that someone might look at me and be like, "Oh man, you created this cool product and you put it out on Kickstarter and it did well, amazing." But the fact of the matter was, if you looked at our bank statement of what was actually happening, I was making little to no money in that time, through years of time. And you were making a lot of money, and they legitimized what I was doing, even though it wasn't actually translating into money at the time, and totally overlooked what you were doing.
Yeah.
And that's the irony of this, right?
But I feel like a lot of that just goes back to, like, I love what I do because I have flexibility. And so I guess when people don't understand, I'm getting better at just being like, yeah, it is a fun hobby. I mean,
and I guess that's the way to do it.
Well, thank you for being my person in business.
Likewise.
And in life. And I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing kind of from his perspective. I mean, especially because we have been at this for a while. And I say we because truly he did encourage me to go ahead and start. And then, I mean, we've invested money, we've invested time. I've invested a lot of tears.
It takes a buy-in, I think, no matter what you do as a partnership, relationship, whatever, it takes full buy-in from both people.
Yeah.
It's hard to get anything done without both people bought in. I feel like on both sides, right?
No, I think that's true. So it's good we have each other. All right, babe. Thank you so much. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Mwah. No, it's good.
Sorry. I would say ask the question again.
Okay.